Right, hello and welcome to this week's angling vlog. This week you join me on the banks of the River Ribble and we're in search of silvers on the stick float. So you do join me on the banks in the rain on the first bit of proper autumn weather we've had. There's a bit of a wind about, the rain's coming down, and I've picked a swim that I think is going to give us the best chance of getting a few bites. So quickly over the setup, because obviously I want to get on my box and fishing. Today I'm going to be using my 12 to 14 foot korum glide. I've teamed that up with a korum switch reel, and on there I've got £5 Dave Howell line. That's down to one of the new fineliner floats from Korum, down to a £2 1 ounce hook link and a size 18 hook. As you can see behind me here, the main river is carrying a bit of pace, but it's actually this little bit here that we're going to be fishing, and you can see the difference in the pace in the two, give you an idea why I've picked it. So what we'll do now is we'll take a look at the swim and we'll get underneath that brolly and make a start. So before we do make a start, I just want to say thank you to everybody that has subscribed to the channel, leaves all the nice comments and likes the videos. It really is appreciated that you guys do enjoy the fishing, and like you can see, I love it too. Out in all conditions, all weeks of the year, enjoying our beautiful sport. So if you do enjoy the video, please leave it a like and subscribe to the channel. Let's take a look at that swim. That's the swim we're going to be fishing today. As you can see, the river's got a bit of clarity, and you can see the difference here. It's just got a little bit of pace. It does look shallow. I can see a couple of bits on the bottom, so maybe it's a swim that won't fish with this little amount of water in, so it's an unknown. It is only a super short trot. As you can see, that's the area from there down I'm going to be targeting, and then we've got the option to go a bit across. It does look a bit pikey, I've got to be honest, and like you say, as soon as we get there, it's the bend of the river, and you can see it's really pacey. So yeah, my hoping is that if we do get a bit of rain coming down the main river, then any fish might back up into here. Did try and get a bit further up to give me more of a trot, but managed to get my box in, so I'm going to be nice and comfy. I'm going to get the brolly up, get the bait out, and let's make a start. But that is the thought behind the swim. So it's not going to be the easiest vlog to record today. Got the brolly above me, and it is only a shallow swim, but I'm super excited to see what it can hold. There's a bite straight away. There's one or two fish in it, that's a good sign. So the good news is there is one or two fish about. Now I'm just going to start off just feeding the hemp about there, the maggots just upstream. It isn't the deepest swim in the world, and just start off easy off the rod tip. There is a lot more debris coming down the river now. There's our friend the minnow. So it is only a short swim and shallow, and it might be one that fishes better, you know, when there's a bit of water in it and it's coming down. As you can see there's certainly a few fish about. Oh, there are probably 10 minutes of baddies and hooked into the first better fish. It looks like a trout. And I say, you never really know what's going to be in these little brooks. What a lovely fish that is. You see all the colours in the spots and everything. And I say these swims can be swims that you've got to persevere with, you know, and sometimes they do fish better when there's another foot on the river, but still the same pace. But you never really know what you're going to catch. It's a horrible day to be on the bank, but at least we're getting one or two bites. We're about half an hour into the session now, and one thing that's noticeable is them bites from them minnows have really slowed down. Whether that means better fish have moved in, I don't know, but definitely still getting the odd minnow, but not as ferocious as they were before. Just persevering with it. So just started to get the first better coarse fish of the day, and it's a dace, which is great to see. So with so many minnows in the swim, they've been very easy to give in today. I had loads of them. It's been about 45 minutes, and that's the first dace. You just got to persevere with them. Like I say, it's a horrible day. It'll be very easy to give in. But experience tells me to stick with it. It's the river, you never really know what can turn up. And like I always say about dace, where there's one, there's normally more. It's mad just how it can turn, isn't it? It's the beauty of rivers. That's the second dace just coming off the rod tip. So I said earlier how just persevering with it can show results, and did feel like the swim had gone quiet, and it more than likely was these dace moving into the swim, and that's a little chublet. So in 3 trots we've had 2 dace and a little chublet, and earlier on I did say it had gone quiet with those minnows. You just knew that some slightly better fish might have moved in. So yeah, great to start getting a few bites from coarse fish. You know, pull back a little bit, more than the minnows, most certainly. I say feeding heavy with that hemp, because obviously you want to attract fish in. And good bed down there. There you go. You see there, getting a few of these dace now. So laying the rig in, feeding. And there we go. They've been an excellent swim. Had we fished a whip today, most definitely. I wish I'd have put it in my box. Literally rod tip, feeding a bit of hemp, feeding them maggots as well. Holding back. And there we go. It is lovely fishing. And one thing that is enjoyable about this form of fishing, you never really know what your next bite's going to be. Is it going to be a trout? Is it going to be a better quality dace? A chublet? You never know at any moment some proper chub could just arrive, some 2-3 pounders. It is just the magic of it and the unknown. I'm persevering with it, just starting to get the odd slightly better one. And what a beautiful dace that is. And the thing you've got to remember is we're fishing a tiny little trot into the main river, and the beauty of it is these fish probably weren't here at the start. So like I've said before on the channel, the beauty of dace is how you can manipulate the shoal. Literally now, fishing rod tip, there's a little slack just starting to appear on the inside here, and literally just going off the rod tip, I've been catching these dace now. Just down there where you can see that float, and just as it's been going, it's that little bit of a slack. There you go, and getting the bites, and as you can see, that's how you can move the shoal about to keep the bites coming. And it has been tough filming today, most definitely. It's not easy when you're underneath a brolly with the GoPro, and I don't know what footage I've got on that. It could all be covered in rain and misted. But literally getting these dace now just down there, it's great fun. And see, the river is starting to change now. You're starting to see the changes. The old rock hasn't come up much, but you can just see the difference is starting to appear. And these bites now are literally coming at the end of the rod tip, and see, laying the float in, just edging it through. There you go. You see there, literally off the end of the rod tip. And that's one of the best dace so far, coming right underneath my feet. You can see now the pace is kind of pushed over to that side, and we're just targeting just here on the end of the rod tip. And it does feel like it's starting to impact now, and that's what normally happens. The fish react, they think the river's rising, and go on the feed. And it's just a case now of trying to keep them there. So literally off the edge of the rod tip, feeding the maggots upstream. It's round about there where I've been putting my hemp. You can see, literally a bite of chuck. And that is the beauty of rivers. We started off catching those little tiny minnows, stick at it, keep feeding, and you start getting better quality fish moving in. And that is why I love the rivers so much. You never ever know what's going to happen, and you never give up, because it can change just like that. The key with it is you've got to keep feeding, putting that bait in the swim, and not giving up really. And so you don't put the bait in, then this opportunity doesn't really arise. It literally is a bite of chuck. So you can just see now how the river's sped up and conditions have changed, and the fish are responding most definitely. See, these dace now are in the swim. The clarity is getting a bit better. You can't see that as clear down there, and this is when you have got to watch the levels. Still watching the rock down there. It's a spate river, so it can rise fast, so it's about safety at the same time. How long we've got left in this swim I don't know, because it is picking up pace, the river now. The more pace it gets on it, the more fish are going to be drawn into this little slacker bit of river, because you can see how fast the main river is now. You see them fish are just moved in now to this river here. It's just a case of being sensible, keeping an eye on the levels, the rain's coming down, and enjoying the fishing. And these fish do migrate on the river, and I guess so do I up to the river, and this is the start of it. A beautiful start to my winter campaign on the ribble. A lovely days. But it is just noticeable now just how quickly, you know, I'm going through the swim. You can see the leaves all coming down and how the swim's changed from that. Not hardly any pace this morning, was it? It's been fun, and hopefully you guys have enjoyed just seeing how a swim can develop in different conditions. Other options that we have got is the slack on the other side is getting more and more appealing. You know, but we'd have to go across the flow to get to it. It wouldn't be an easy fish. But that would be where I'd be going to next if it was, you know, going to keep on getting bites. I say at the moment, it's just on the edge. I think we're getting the bites and the dace are there, and when you start seeing the old crocodiles of the river coming down, big logs like that that's beneath the water, it's time to start moving back. You can see there it is coming up on the log now. This river now, like you can see, is a bit of a mess. It's getting there, like you can see there's all bits of tree coming down, so it's always safety first on a river. It's time to just maybe move back a bit up here, you know, stand up, and if we're going to continue to get bites, I think we're going to have to go just on that slack on that far side. The session does come to an end there now. At the latter stages I did flick over to that slack on the far bank side and continue to pick up those dace. Back on the bank you can see the river behind me, a little bit different than the intro this morning. And sessions like today, even though it has been raining and we've been wet, thoroughly enjoyable. They really are the ones that I really do enjoy. The ones where you've got to stick at it, keep feeding, remain confident. And looking at the conditions today, I knew there was every chance that this could happen. You know, rain was forecast. I'm picking a location that can take that extra rain, and hopefully the fish would respond has paid off, as you can see in that final net. I really do hope you have enjoyed this week's vlog. All that remains is to wish you all tight lines in your own fishing, and I'll catch you all next week. Tight lines.